Now watch this drive.
Welcome back to the review hour on Hoops Variety Hour. Today we will be reviewing episode 2 of Star Wars Visions.
Tatooine Rhapsody.
Yes, by Studio Colorido.
Not to be confused with Studio Colorado.
So, I'll start out with this one. Not much positive to say, I'm not gonna lie. It was a pretty trash episode.
Let's start this from the context of your expectations going into episode 2 after finishing episode 1.
I was like, oh man, this is gonna be cool, like fight scenes, right? Like I'm expecting like cool fights and like different animation styles from all these different studios, right? Obviously, some of them are going to be a lot different than the first one, and you're going to like some and you're going to dislike some, just on personal preference. But what was this, dude? It was hot garbage.
So
it's like a 1 out of 10.
Let me spoilers on the score, my dude.
It's fine.
Okay, I don't know. Here's like my real big problem with this is that they trick you. They tell you that it's Star Wars, and they try to make you think that you're watching Star Wars. But what about this is Star Wars in any way? Besides,
literally nothing. Literally, they had freaking Boba Fett.
What did they do to my
Jabba
boy?
the Hutt, dude.
What did they do?
He looks like a children's toy.
Soiled it! Soiled it! Soiled it! Soiled it! Soiled it!
And you know what the worst part is, Jacob?
What?
The worst part is this episode is like frankly animated better than the first one. Like the quality overall throughout the entire episode, there's more frame count, it looks smoother, the action is more dynamic in my opinion. I think it just overall they have bigger scale shots with more colors and more characters moving with more expressive faces. You don't have the aesthetics clashing with the 3D models and the painted backgrounds like you did in the first one. But the aesthetic is so awful that I can't even bring myself to enjoy it whatsoever. It's maddening. I don't know why they did this.
I do
know why they did this.
The thing for me that I just don't understand is as an animation studio, right? It's like you want to kind of like show off something, right? So you create a cool fight scene where you can show off your animation, or like, oh, we're gonna like show off this. I mean, you only have 15 minutes, but I feel like they literally made themselves look horrible. Like they made all the wrong decisions. There's like zero fight scene, right? Not saying that there has to be one, but like the point of it was just like I guess they had like the music at the end was like somewhat okay.
You didn't feel the passion behind that final concert.
No, not really. The music at the end was somewhat okay, I guess.
But by the way, for an episode that's all about a band becoming the best band in the galaxy, how forgettable was the music?
Very. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't even good. It was okay. It was like a very okay song at the end, and I'm like, all right.
I tried it in English and Japanese, by the way, and it did not improve either way. I had no preference.
Figured it wouldn't. It was, I don't know, man. I don't know what they're going for. Like they made trash decisions on that one. Okay. I'm not gonna lie.
No, so you're totally right. But like let's just dive into it slightly, right? Because you're thinking, okay, it's not for me. They really wanted to make a big change. This is probably targeted towards kids more, right? Or maybe younger audiences, or people who like slice of life anime. Like obviously they're going for sort of different anime styles in this anthology, right? But if episode 1 gave me like cautious optimism as to how they were going to use that platform, this is making me like really scared that they're just going to take this series into some whack directions. Because like aesthetic aside, the story was just lame, boring, and confusing, right? Like
I felt like they tried to focus on the plot way too much for 15 minutes.
Oh my God. We talked a little bit.
It's like a race through everything, and they were like,
there was some
heartfelt scene
exposition, right?
Yeah, let's try to make you feel sad for this guy, but it was like you can't do that in 15 minutes.
they had like 4 main characters, and the one lady robot gets 2 lines of dialogue in 15 minutes.
That's what yeah.
I and like, okay, like here's just one example. After their bassist gets kidnapped, right, and they have to go get him back, there is just a hard cut to him about to be executed. The band shows up and they said, we cut a deal with Java, we get to play one final song, and you're like, wait,
Yeah, it was not
how?
good. It was not
Ugh.
good. I have nothing more to say. I'm gonna be generous on this one.
Nothing in it feels earned. Like, okay, you have nothing else to say. I've got
I'm gonna be
got a little
generous
more
on this
ranting
one.
to do.
2 out of 10. 2 out of 10.
Okay, so why does the crowd immediately get onto their side? They showed up for an execution, and then all of a sudden they're like screaming for an
Music
encore.
was just that heat, Cole. It was straight fire.
Why, when he makes his declaration to Java about how they're going to be the best band ever and how you should sponsor us, the executioners show up, point their guns at them, and then fire them into the sky before leaving, purely to fake out the audience? There's no logical reason in the world for them to do that. It's just like every decision.
It was hot garbage. I take it back. 1 out of 10. 1 out of 10.
And you can tell that they only brought in. I have so much to say about this. You can tell they only brought in Java and Boba Fett and Java's like second. Like all these Star Wars characters are only there so that they can say that this is Star Wars.
Yeah,
because this has nothing to do with Star Wars. And it's like, honestly, a real shame that they wasted 1 out of the 9 episodes and some really, really talented animators. Like, honestly, like this is really like amazing art. The lighting was really good. When they did have that one chase scene with Boba Fett when it was raining and it was in the city, and I thought the lighting was great and the sound design was. But I'm just like, what is this all for? It's for this trash story in the weirdest aesthetic where they're just tricking you into watching something that you would never watch because it's supposed to be Star Wars. And I don't even like Star Wars, Jacob. I'm not a Star Wars fan, but I feel bamboozled.
Hot take.
It's like a 0.1 for me. It's like it's like
Damn.
really bad. It's like
really
I watched
bad.
this shit twice.
I only watched it once. I couldn't make myself do that again, dude. It was garbage. All right. Well, that about wraps up episode 2 of the review hour on Hoops Variety Hour. Look forward to episode 3 coming out next week. And if you have any ideas on what Cole and I should watch next after we finish Star Wars Visions, make sure to leave them in the comments.
And like and subscribe
and
if you feel like it. You know, like
if you enjoy this type of stuff.
You know, don't do it just, you know, don't do it just because we're sexy.
Or do it because we're sexy, you know, whatever you want.
I mean,
all right, thanks for tuning in. Catch you next week.